Hello and welcome back to Embodied Astrology. This is a weekly series where I share practical teachings and intuitive messages about the astrology of the week ahead so that you can work with this energy to embody your most authentic self and live your best life. This week, the vibe is shifting, which I think feels really good. Last week with our new moon in Aries, you may recall, we had like 6 or 7 planets in Aries, and there's been a lot of heavy Aries energy that we've been existing in. It's definitely much needed and necessary after, the Pisces, Mercury retrograde and eclipse season. It's like we needed that kind of fire in our belly again and that desire to like get up and go and get things done and feel very determined and really access our willpower and our bravery. And now the stellium in Aries is kind of breaking apart as more planets are moving into other signs. We are getting a little bit more dimension in terms of the energy that we were able to access. And I think this is really going to allow us to carry forward these goals that we set on last week's new moon with a little bit more dimension and in creative new ways. So on Sunday, we had the sun move into Taurus. So happy Taurus season. And then on Thursday, we have Venus moving into Gemini. And on Saturday, very big deal, we have Uranus also moving into Gemini after its 7-ish year stint in Taurus. With the sun moving into Taurus, I was meditating on what this energy is, and I was just seeing a ton of orange. And if you're familiar with the chakra system, orange is the color of the sacral chakra. And it is this signature of creativity, of divine feminine, of sensuality, of sexuality. And so I really think this week, as the sun is moving into Taurus, we are really being asked to connect with our feminine side, to connect with our sensual side and our creative side. When we talked about tapping into our goddess energy last week, I really do feel like this is a continuation of that. And when we are pursuing these goals that we set with the new moon last week, we're now being asked to look at things with a bit more of like a creative, allowing kind of feminine lens. We still have this Aries determination, motivation, desire to take action, do all the things, but we're balancing it with this sit back, allowing creative side. This new vibe is also encouraging us to get curious, to get playful, and this is where the Gemini stuff comes into play. So as Venus moves into Gemini on Thursday, Gemini being an air sign that's all about learning and sharing of ideas, communicating, friendship, this is kind of bringing out our curiosity and our playful side. And so again, when we are working towards these goals that we set under the new moon in Aries, it's asking us how we can get a little bit more playful, get creative, and look to our networks. Like, who are the people in our life that we can use as accountability buddies when it comes to this goal? Who are the people who can actually help us, connect us to the right people, and collaborate with the right folks? And so it's adding in this energy of like lightness, fun, playfulness, that is, again, adding this different dimension to the really focused, determined Aries energy that we've been existing in for most of April. When Uranus moves into Gemini on Saturday, this is quite possibly the biggest vibe shift on a collective, more global scale. Uranus is the planet of disruption, innovation, change, technology. We are just finishing up the transit of Uranus through the sign of Taurus, which started back in 2018. And so if you think back to 2018 and reflect on the last 7 years about what in your life has changed, and if you know where Taurus falls in your chart, chances are there have been a lot of really significant changes in that area of your life. For example, I'm a Leo rising and Taurus is in my 10th house of career. And since 2018, when I decided I was gonna quit my job working at my record label and travel the world, and then I started doing artist management, and then I started doing fitness, and then I started doing astrology, and I started my own business, like, that part of my life has transformed and changed so much in ways that I never ever would have imagined. But all in all, we're definitely in service of my highest and best. If you are a Taurus rising, Uranus has been transiting your first house, the house of self-expression, presence, your motivation and kind of outlook on life. I have so many Taurus rising friends who over the last 7 years have really transformed how they've put themselves out there, how they identify, what they're doing out in the world. And it's really kind of an amazing exercise. So if you would, reflect on the Taurus part of your chart and all the amazing ways that it has changed, that you've become more radically yourself in that particular area of life, because I think that will give you some clues or at least some appreciation for what we can expect with Uranus in Gemini. Another way to get a sense of exactly what this Uranus in Gemini transit is going to mean for you is to think back to July through November of 2025, because Uranus did make a brief appearance in Gemini over the summer and into the fall of last year. And so when you think back to that time in your life and the themes that were surfacing or big things that happened that really mark that period of time, you might be able to expect more of that as Uranus enters Gemini for reals on Saturday. A key message that I was getting around the astrology for this week is this need to really double down on our grounding practices, because things are going to continue to speed up and get weird, and we need to really do the things that help us feel grounded and present and in our bodies. I think there's a lot of really exciting potential with this transit, but I think it also comes with this reminder to try to do everything that we possibly can to ground and to stay in our bodies. And this is what Taurus season is really all about. The sun is in Taurus. And so I think there's a lot of significance here with this transit happening now, understanding that intellectually things are going to be really speeding up. The ways in which we communicate and relate to each other and use technology is going to be speeding up in ways that we don't expect. And so at the end of the day, how can we continue to come back to ourselves, to stay in our bodies, to do the things like meditation, breathing, moving our physical bodies that just allow us to feel connected to our humanity. So my practice for you this week, to sum up all the themes that I'm getting around groundedness, of curiosity, of playfulness, of creativity, is to take yourself on an artist date. I famously completed 11 out of the 12 weeks of The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, but I found it to be incredibly transformative, and I absolutely love some of the weekly practices that she recommends, one of them being the artist date. So the idea of the artist date is you ideally set aside 1 hour for yourself during the week, or if you can only do like 20-30 minutes, like do what you can. Anything is better than nothing, but setting aside that time to do something that really pleases like your inner artist, your inner child, something that is not work related, is not like, oh, I'm going to go do this nice thing for somebody else. It's like something totally selfish, totally fun, creative, something that makes you giddy and brings you a lot of joy, that has no other kind of like productive purpose. So whether that is going to a coffee shop and reading a book for fun, walking around your neighborhood and taking pictures of all the pretty plants and flowers and trees that are in bloom now, or even just like treating yourself to a movie night because you want to watch some of the old movies that in childhood like made you really happy. I'm sure you've experienced this too. The amount of times that I'm just driving in my car, or I'm walking down the street, or I'm doing something totally playful and for fun, and I accidentally just get these amazing ideas about like a work thing that I'm trying to solve or a relational dynamic that I'm trying to fix. You just get these little downloads when we allow our subconscious brain to kind of do its thing in the background. Do something really playful and fun that allows you to connect to your creativity, to your sensual side, to your inner child. And whatever you do, please let me know in the comments. And that's it for this week's video. Thank you so much for watching. I absolutely love making these videos for you. Keep the comments and the likes and the subscriptions coming. We love to see it. And if this energy of curiosity, of playfulness, of change is really getting you excited, but you are unsure exactly what to do with it, especially if you're a Gemini rising, because you are about to get such an awesome transformational opportunity with Uranus transiting your rising sign over the next 7 years. But if you're like, what does that even mean? Can I work with this energy to my benefit? The answer is yes. And I think one amazing way that you can start to tap into this is by booking a True You astrology reading with me. This is an expansive astrology reading experience where we connect to your authentic self and discover your unique potential through the lens of your birth chart. It is an experience that allows you you to come away feeling validated and really seeing the journey that you've been on and appreciating where you've come from, and to walk away with some inspiration and some confidence on how exactly to move forward and to embrace what's going on in the sky. So if that sounds of interest to you, I would absolutely love to check out your chart with you. So go ahead and book a time in my calendar, which is linked below. I hope you have an amazing week. And next week, I'll be back to talk about a full moon in Scorpio. Ooh, so I can't wait to see you then, and have a great week.